Hello and welcome to Perfect Glamour Fashion. In my previous tutorial, we attempted to draft the pattern for this dress as seen on Vicky James. So in this tutorial, this is going to be the sewing part of the tutorial where we're going to couple the pattern together. Alright, the first thing we're doing is to cut out the pattern we've drawn out previously on the fabric, and take note of this. When you're cutting your pieces, the front should not be cut on fold. I made the mistake to cut mine on fold. I ended up having two pieces of the front. So the front is already open, so you cut only one piece of each side of the front, and then for the back, that's where you cut the two pieces, and then you cut out your lining and all of that. I will also advise that you use a Mikado silk fabric for this dress, so that's also guaranteed that puffiness as seen on the inspiration video. Okay, this is what my client had, so I just had to make do with it. All right, okay, so the next thing is to join the sides of our pieces. Now remember, we cut the main fabric plus lining, so you will join the lining to the main fabric by joining it by the sides by ½ inch. Now I'm done doing it. This is what I have. You have one piece, you have both your lining and your fabric already as one piece. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I just wanted to show you guys the mistake I made. Okay, this is the extra piece I had because I cut on full, so don't make that mistake also. All right, so for the back piece, what you're going to do is to transfer your dart. So you can transfer your dart anyhow you usually transfer your dart. Now for me, I just wanted to show you guys how I easily transfer my darts from pattern to my fabric. I do not go ahead and bring out the pattern paper and start trying to transfer the dart. All I do is that I redraft the dart on my fabric. Okay, so this is the back, this is the wrong side of my fabric, this is the lining part of my fabric. I go ahead and mark my half length, mark my bust point, and then mark the 5 inches that I went down with. Okay, and then I come into the that line by ½ inch on both sides, and I redraft my simple dart. Okay, when I'm done doing that, I'll just try to use my chalk, use a chalk that can be transferred. Okay, and then I would place it on the other part of the back and just dap around that area, and before you know it, voila, we have the both sides of my darts. Okay, all right, so for the front, this is also the wrong side of the front. I'm going to be adding remember, it's only the dart is going to be just one. We're going to have that on one side of the front, but the other side is not going to have that. So that side that is going to have that, I'm going in from the center line. I'm going in from this edge, okay, by 8 inches, because that is my nipple to nipple measurement. So whatever is your nipple to nipple measurement, you go in by your nipple to nipple measurement. You understand that, right? Okay, so I've marked my half length, and then I've also marked my bust point. I'm just trying to make sure that my half length is accurate, and then I'm going to rule a straight line. So this is going to serve as that for just one side of the front piece. I hope that's clear. Okay, so remember, if you have any question, you can drop a comment. I'll be in the comment section to answer all your questions. So just the way we did for the front, I'm transferring the dart to the fabric, and I'm not going to be transferring to the others. I'm not going to be dabbing anything because this is going to have only one side, one dart by one side. And then I'm also going to remember that we gave allowance for a bust dart. So this is me just ruling out where I'm going to add the bust dart. I came in by 4 inches, and then I'm going to just join the bust dart like we discussed in our previous video. So if you've not seen the previous video, please, it's very important that you go back and see that video. It will be linked in the description so that you can follow what we are doing in this video. I hope that's clear. All right, so now that we're done doing that, I've gone ahead to stitch down my dart, and I've given it a good press. So go ahead and stitch down your dart. give it a good press. The next thing we're going to do is to join the front, the two pieces of the front. We're going to join it together. And when I'm joining it, I'm going to just come down by 4 inches on the top and 4 inches on the down part, the hemline. Okay, I'm coming up by 4 inches on the hemline, and I'm coming up by 4 inches at the top. So I'm going to join by with half of an inch all the way down. Okay, I hope that's clear. I'm going to join with half inch all the way down to the point I marked close to the hemline. Okay, this space I left is just to allow me to add in the ruffles when the time comes. All right, now I'm bringing back my back pieces. It's time to join the shoulder, so I'm going to just join the shoulder by just running a straight stitch close to the edge of the shoulder. I'm using half inch sewing allowance. Remember, that's what we gave for the shoulder. And then for the side, now I want you to notice how I am joining the side. I'm making sure that I'm still getting that curve. Remember, we used that curved ruler towards the hip region when we were sewing, when we were cutting the pattern. So I'm making sure that as I'm joining, I'm also following that curved pattern, so that when it's standing, it's going to have that curvy look that we saw on the inspiration video. Okay, now I'm adding my zipper. Go ahead and add your zipper anyhow you add it. All right, so the next thing we're doing is that we are cutting our sleeve. Now for the sleeve, remember we said that there is going to be ruffles in the sleeve. So what you're going to do is, whatever your sleeve length towards the edge of your finger, towards your fingers is, you have to go take out 3 inches, which is going to be 3 inches or 4 inches, depending on how much you want the ruffles to be. So that's going to serve as the length of your sleeve. So length of sleeve minus how much you want, like how many inches you want your ruffles to be. That's what you're going to be using as the length of the sleeve. I hope that's clear. All right, so you can draft out your sleeve anyhow you know how to draft out your sleeve. For me, if you just look very closely, you observe how I'm doing mine, and this is how I've been doing it for a long time, and it's very, very simple actually. Just rule a diagonal line, find the midpoint and mark. When you found your midpoint and mark, then within that line, just find the midpoint of that midpoint also, if you understand what I mean, and then mark half inches above that point and then half inches below it. Simple. That's the simplest way to get your curve. So if you want me to do a tutorial separately for how to draft your sleeve, your perfect long sleeve or short sleeve, just drop sleeve in the comments section. Okay, so I'll know that you are interested in me making that video, and I'll make it for you. Okay, so if you've seen this video up to this point, that means you like our content. Do well to like, do well to share to your friends, and if you're new to this channel, you can go ahead and subscribe. Okay, so you'll be a part of this big family. And to my returning subscribers, I love you guys. Thank you for all your support and for making sure that you're always seeing my videos. Okay, so the next thing I'm doing is to just take out a few inches, just like 0.25 inches from one part of the sleeve. This is going to serve as the front part of my sleeve, right? This is how I do it, and it works out all of the time. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to attach the sleeve to the dress. So you can go ahead and attach the sleeve however you usually attach your sleeve. Okay, so that the sleeve is not what we're focusing on in today's tutorial. Okay, so now I've joined my sleeve, and then we're going to add the ruffles. Okay, they're going to be adding the ruffles. Now the first thing I'll do to add the ruffle is to measure the circumference of each part of the shoulder. I'm going to be measuring each of the shoulders separately. I've measured this side and it is 17 inches. I'm measuring the other side. Okay, the other side was about 22 inches or so. 22 to 24 inches. Okay, 22 inches. So you're going to go ahead and whatever you have, you're going to times it by 3. Okay, so 3 times of the circumference of the place you want to place your sleeve is what you are going to be using for the ruffles to make it full. And if you have more material, you can even do 4 times, 5 times, and etc, etc. Now the width of the ruffle I'm using is 8 inches, so it's 9 inches. So when I fold it, I'm going to get 4.5, and that's enough for what I wanted to use. All right, so the first way to achieve your ruffle is to just fold your ruffle pieces into 2, and then form a diagonal line. Form a diagonal line just the way I did, and then you're good to go. Then another way that I find to be more useful for a puffy scrunchie is to just try shift one part of the tip to form some sort of a bias form, and then rule your diagonal line with the shape like that. Okay, so this is going to make it uneven, and it's going to make the scrunchie to puff up, to puff out. I hope that's clear. Okay, so when you've done that, you go ahead and gather your fabric. I've gone ahead to gather my fabric. I've also joined the shoulder. I hope you're seeing how puffy mine is looking. If it were a Mikado silk fabric, it would have puffed out even better. I hope that's clear. Okay, so go ahead and do the same thing for the sleeve. I'm also going to do the same thing for the down part. Remember, the first step is to measure the circumference you want the scrunchie to be. The circumference you want the scrunchie pattern to be. So for me, this is the down part. I want it to be in the down part. I'm going to cut my fabric to be exactly 3 times whatever I got as the circumference. So when I've done that, I'm going to form my scrunchie just the way I explained earlier, and I'm going to join it. I hope that's clear. Okay, so now I'm done doing the joining, and I'm going to close up those places I opened up to help me to achieve my scrunchie easily. So I'm closing that up, and then that's basically the next thing is to form the scrunchie also for the sleeve. So the same method we use for the up and the down is the same method you're going to be using for the sleeve. Now one thing you shouldn't forget is to top stitch. This is after you've weaved your dress, then you top stitch on the upper part. You're going to top stitch on the fabric so that it can help your scrunchie to stand, if that's clear. So now we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you were able to pick everything I've explained, and I hope you loved this video. Go ahead and give it a try, and let's see your feedback in the comment section. Bye.